Hello, everyone. We are streaming some chess here live, coming to you from no San Juan, pero uh, Bayamon, Puerto Rico. Someone asked me to text a link to them. Gracista. Okay. We have a Queen's Gambit, so I'll play c4 to attack this pawn. Alright, knight f3. Play knight c6. Or knight f3, sorry. Well, normally knight f6 is played first. So my question is, if I play e4, b5, a4, alright, I'm just going to play queen c2 with the idea of transposing. Alright, I don't think that's good. Because if I haven't committed to knight c3, b5 loses a lot of its potency. Guess my opponent plays a6 or a6, e6. Yeah, I'm gonna just play g3. I'm just gonna. My opponent's weakened a lot of squares on the queen side. I'll get my pawn back. I can get my pawn back later. I'm not terribly concerned. I'm sure. I'm sure my opponent has to play bishop b7. Yeah, okay, so he's trying to. That's directed against knight e5. Yeah, but now, I mean, I guess I'll give you the a5 pawn and I'll raise you the c6 pawn. Because if I play knight e5 now, knight a4, just bishop c6 check's really strong. All right, I'm just gonna play knight. I'm just gonna play knight e5. I mean, because my opponent cannot allow this. I'm also threatening ab5 now because this pawn is pinned. And it's also attacked twice and defended 0 times, so. but okay, that's check. How is this not just totally? I'm quite confused now. You really gonna play King E7? So your rook is hanging. Or as we'd say in Spanish, la torre está en el aire. The rook is in the air. Because I can just eat this rook. Now, of course, my opponent can take my knight. And the rook, the rook is worth more than the knight, but I'm kind of confused because if I just play a move like knight f3, and my opponent moves the queen, there's no check, and then I can just eat his rook for free. So I guess I'm going to just do that. Because this hits the queen can't defend the rook, and then I'm going to just take this, and so there's a good chance my opponent will just resign here. No, well. I mean, knight takes. I don't even know if I want to take that. I mean, if I just play A takes B5. So yes, the rook is worth more than the bishop in the abstract. Like that we say the bishop is worth 3 and the rook is worth about 5. But here this rook just can't do anything. It can hardly move. And if I play A takes B5, and my opponent tries to save his rook, I can just attack it again with bishop f4, and then the rook really is trapped. I think I'm going to do that. I also have an idea of playing like knight d2 and knight e4, or knight c3 to e4, bishop f5, or bishop f4, sorry. Because again, if the rook moves over bishop f4 and this rook, there's no way to stop this. I attack it, or I can, from f4, if my opponent plays rook b8, I attack it again. And if rook b8, I can even just play rook a7 check. Because this pawn's not defended, and then figure out what to do. Then play bishop f4. So I don't think this rook's going yet. Oh. Well now, okay, so that makes sense. Now I can play bishop e3 though. Bishop e3, queen b4 check, bishop d2. Bishop e3, queen b4 check. Bishop d2. Is queen b3 a thing there? No, 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 I just trade and I just trade everything. I just trade the world. I just take on b3, cb3, bishop a8, queen a8, rook a7. I'm just gonna attack the queen again. And if queen d6, I can just play bishop b. I can just take on b6 for free. Yep. But I basically gained a move here. I got to play bishop d2 for free. So here, I have to come up with a move. If I play knight, and I can take the exchange if I want it. Although now the queen does defend this, but then I could just castle. All right, I'll take the exchange. I think that's good enough. Now I can castle, and now the idea is to play bishop e3 again, and then I can just eat this pawn. Knight a3 is a I could also play knight a3, because then my opponent is forced to play, or I could play knight c3. Sorry. Knight c3 or knight a3, because then my opponent is forced to give up this bishop for my knight, and this is a good piece. This will be a good piece because I have put some pawns on dark squares. Then again, castling should be a fine move, so I'm gonna just castle. And not worry too much. And my opponent has some pretty lazy pieces on the king side too that are having trouble getting into the game. This bishop's gonna take at least 2 moves. His king is stuck in the middle. If bishop b5, I have bishop e3 and rook a7 check, which should be good. It should be sufficient to just wrap the game up. Okay. Knight f6 makes sense. My opponent just is kind of desperate to get some pieces into the game. Oh, actually, this is nice. Bishop e3, yep, and now rook a7, and it's actually quite difficult to develop that knight. Knight b6, but now I can play Yeah, I can play knight c3, or actually no, I can just play rook b7, and then knight d5 is the only. Ooh, no, because this takes it hits my queen at the same time. So I should play knight c3, queen c6, and then I can play rook a6. Yeah, because the only way to stop, you can play queen c6, and then I can play rook a6, and then this is pinned, and it's attacked twice, and it can't be defended again. The only way is knight d5, and then I can play knight d5, I trade the knights, and then take on this. So, yeah, so knight c3. Queen c6 is the only move that maintains defense of the knight and doesn't lose, or queen b4. It doesn't really matter, but queen b4 or queen c. If queen b4, I can play rook b7. This knight is attacked again, and if the knight moves, I can take the queen for free. So there's a pin, and if the queen goes to c6, I can play rook a6, and then there's a pin. This going this way. So either way, this knight's going to be attacked twice, defended once, and the knight can't move, won't be able to move because I'll win the queen. And so, the knight could be defended by knight d5, but then I just trade I trade the defender off. Yep. So let me just double check this. Rook b7, there's no weird thing where this knight moves and like attacks my queen, and then no, all right, yeah, it's just rook b7. So yeah, so there's no, my opponent's gonna lose another piece, and then he's down a full rook, which is too much. And this is just the double attack on the knight, which is pinned to the queen. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else is cooking here. All right. Let's see if anyone else wants to play 15-15. A. Priyatna is the name of my opponent, which will appear. All right, c5. There we go. See, now the I have the screen set up so that you see the times, but it doesn't. It looks different for until the moves have been, like the first move has been made, and then it Lichess adjusts the way it displays. So like by a few pixels, by like 30 or 40 pixels for some reason. Bishop c4. Well, I know I'm definitely going to be playing e6, so I could play it now. Or I could just play knight c6, which I'll do. I can do that too. c3. Well, I'm going to play knight f6 because now you can't defend with knight c3, and you can't play e5 because I just eat you. And if d3, I can just play d5, f3. Well, I'm going to just play d5. Now the position is opening up, and my opponent has made the moves f3 and c3, which are of relative usefulness. I've played c5, which is really useful because it kind of makes d4 less attractive for my opponent. And yeah, I think my position is great. Queen b3, I can just play e6. Probably just going to play e6 anyway on my next move. Knight e2. Could also, e5 is also a consideration because it further discourages d4, but I'm just going to play e6. I'm just going to kill this, make this piece bad. My opponent can play d4 should they have such a desire, but I'll probably just play knight b6 and then threaten to either give them an isolated pawn or yeah, because I can play cd4, and if they play bishop b5, I can just play bishop d7. Okay, that's understandable. Or even queen b6 is an idea too. If I I'm talking about if by itself, not without knight b6. But yeah, I mean here I want to be able to take with I don't want to play this yet because if he plays bishop d5, I do want to be able to take with my queen. Yeah, I don't think actually queen b6. I suppose he can play d4. So. So I'm gonna the other thing I'm some kind of threatening to do after I castle, and if he keeps fooling around and not moving his d pawn, I can play knight e5, and then when the bishop moves, I can play knight d3, and then I could even play knight f4. So, well, all right. Are you gonna play d4 or not? You are. Well, here. So knight b6. There's bishop b5, cd4, bishop c6, bc6, knight d4. I guess I don't mind the bishops are reasonably good there. The bishops are reasonably good there. cd4, my opponent almost certainly plays knight d4. And then knight d4, queen d4. cd4, knight d4. Knight e5 doesn't do anything. Alright, let's play knight b6. My opponent really can't afford to let me give him isolated pawn on d4 because it's just weak. And I can play bishop. Really? Well, okay. I guess I'm in for this then. Bishop f6. Bishop e3, knight d5, bishop f2, b6 with the idea of bishop a6 is kind of is obnoxious for my opponent. And then I can also, if he plays knight c3, I can play knight ce7. Yeah, that looks good. I just want to not lose the fight for the d5 square, of course. So I want to be able to play here, knight bd5, and then knight ce7, and that, again, that just stops this. If I can control this beautiful. Hi, Mike. It's Miles from Swindle City. Hey, Miles. The other idea was like to try knight a5 with the idea of knight c4, but that seems a little. I think he just plays bishop c1 and I get driven back. So. b6. So now my idea is bishop a6. I think I can play. No, it doesn't work. I thought I could play bishop a knight c3. I could play bishop a6 because then if knight d5, cd5, and then there's no way to stop. I can take on e2 and then take on d4, but he can just play rook e1. And then if bishop e2, just rook e2, and he maintains defense of the e4 square or d4 square. So here, yeah, if knight c3, I'm just gonna play knight d2. Knight d2. Bishop a6, knight d4. All right. I mean, I'm gonna just play bishop a6, knight e4, bishop e2, queen e2, knight d4. And if knight f6 check, queen f6. Bishop d4, queen d4, rook d1, queen c5, Yeah, that looks good. All right. To be honest, I actually don't mind this trade. If even if he's not going to get it in a way that's useful for him, but even if like it didn't mean I was winning the d pawn, because again the bishops are not that important here because I have such a beautiful square for my knight. So even if he had tried knight c3, knight e7, and then knight e4, I think I'd still just play bishop a6. But we'll look at that after the game. Well, here I could actually... No, I can't play bishop d4. But I can play bishop e2. Okay. So there's two moves. There's knight f6. There's knight f6 right away. And then still queen e2, and then knight d4, bishop d4. I'm getting one of the bishops back, right? So for the knights. So knight f6, bishop d4, queen d4, rook a d1. For example, and then I can play like queen b4 and everything is covered. Yeah, that looks nice because then there's no penetration to d7. I don't have to worry about. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna play knight takes. And then knight d4. And then my opponent should probably play bishop takes d4 because otherwise I'm going to be left with the d5. If he lets me play knight b3, I just have the permanent d5 square. So my opponent should probably play bishop, probably give me this bishop so that I can't just own the d5 square for the knight. He can never threaten to actually take me this way. So I guess what's keeping my opponent in the game is potentially here he's going to get some activity with his rooks, but what I have planned is that I can just, and then I can just play queen b4. Thank you for the follow, Miles. Queen b4, and the issue here is there's no knight b7, rook d7. I could also try queen f4. I'm going to play queen b4, I think. screw up here? Because now queen a6 is a little bit annoying. Yeah. But actually, queen c5. I think I can play queen c5, and if queen a7, I have queen f2. Or better yet, queen c5. Queen a7. I think I just have to play g6 actually, which is obnoxious, but alright. I think rook a8 is just too passive. Rook a8, queen b7, queen 8. Maybe it's not actually. Queen 8, yeah. All right, so now I can play g. Again, there's no knight d7. So now I think I need to take the opportunity to fix my back rank. And I'm assuming my opponent is going to play something like queen back to a6. And yeah, I'm gonna have more active. I mean, so if I can play knight d5. Why did you say, Miles? Why do you say you're from like Is that actually where you're? Is there something called Swindle City, or is that like just like Swindle City, as in you swindle lots of players? My opponent has to have some way to equal. I feel or let me put it this way: my intuition says my opponent has a way to equalize here. I think what makes it tricky is his pawns are a little misplaced. I think if he had this and could just play king g2. But now he has to fix his back rank and he has to move another pawn in front of his king. If he plays g3, that's a little awkward. And if he plays h3, it's also slightly awkward. Because now I play knight h5, does that work? I don't think it does. I think if knight h5, rook d7 might be a thing. So if I play knight d5, kind of think bishop d5 is somewhat forced. And then bishop d5, queen b7 is what I'm looking at. Rook c7, queen a8 check, king g7, rook d8. I don't know if that bothers me. No, that might even lose. Rook c7, queen b8 check, king g7. Rook d8 check. I think rook d1's kind of forced there. The idea is I just don't want I want to be able to penetrate with my rook. Knight d5, e d5, queen b7. Ooh, maybe rook c6 with the idea of rook d6. Queen b8 check, king g7, queen d5 check. Queen e5 check is an issue though. Knight d5, e d5, queen b7. So there's also rook d8 just directly, which I suppose looks reasonable because I mean the threat is just to start pushing my d pawn. So all right. Knight f4 will be quite unpleasant for my opponent. If queen b7, I'm going to play rook d. Am I going to play rook d8? I could actually, rook c6 is an idea too because, so here, if my opponent plays queen b7, I can play rook c6 because if queen b8, rook c7, queen b7, and then rook c7, check, king g7. I'm gonna use the bathroom very quickly. I should probably make a comment about like endings here. So like we're rapidly approaching the ending. So the endings that are good for my opponent are ones in which queens are traded. And because my opponent has the outside majority and the bishop's going to be a better piece. And then the endings which are good for me are the queen endings, the heavy piece endings, because the way that we'd enter the heavy piece ending is probably going to be through bishop d5 and ed5, and then I'm going to have a pass pawn already. I'm going to have a safer king because I've moved fewer pawns in front of my king, and I have more active pieces. So in a vacuum, if you could just take off the queens, my opponent would have some advantage. Maybe just even a clear advantage, but that's difficult to do. Queen a4. Well, clearly my opponent would like to maybe try to force a queen trade. No, I can just take. So question, if I just play queen f2, queen d7, rook c7. Yeah, that looks bad for my, that looks. Queen f2, bishop d5, ed5, rook d5. I think has got to just lose to rook c8, so rook c1 check, right? Rook c1 check. Or I can at least rook c1 check. All right, queen f2, bishop d5, ed5, queen d2, queen d7, sorry, rook c2, queen e8 check, king g7, queen e5 check, f6, queen e7 check, king h6, rook g1. It doesn't seem like that's winning. I could also just play knight e3 directly. Rook c1 check. Rook c1 check. King h2. Queen g1 check, king g3. I mean, I have at least a draw, but king g3, rook c2. Queen e8 check. King g7, queen e5. f6 doesn't work because rook d7 check, king h6. So, okay, the other, yeah. Yeah, I think I need to play knight. Also, I just realized my opponent can play queen d4, which is annoying. Although, is it though? Yeah, I think in that case I just need to play knight e3. Because now the threat is knight f5 and knight g3 check. Skakshilpa, you can challenge me just after this game. Yeah, no. I mean, I saw you. I wasn't even looking at the chat, so if I don't. You can kibitz after like it's no longer relevant, but I appreciate like I found this move on my own, and I think it is the best move. But I'm not. I would appreciate if we refrain from sharing things until after either after the game or later in the game. Yeah, so 10 minutes with like a 5-second increment would be perfect. With like sharing actual variations in the chat until after the game or it's no longer relevant to what's going on in the game. Rook g1. So now there's no more queen d4. Okay, what to do? Let's start with knight f5. The other move I was looking at was queen f. I think queen f2 works. Bishop e6, I can just eat that. I'm serious. I've worked back to g1. I wonder if I have. Queen b4. Now I think I have knight e3. And I think he has to play rook g1, and then I think I have rook c1. There's no, yeah, because that threatens mate, and there's no way to stop the mate except for rook g1. And of course, rook e3 is not good either, is not good. So 5 minute, I'm not going to do 5 minute with, I could do 5 minute with like a 3-second increment if that's what you really want. But again, I'm trying to give commentary on the game at the same time, so. Okay, there's no useful checks. Yeah. So I was able to, took my opponent some time to, he had to spend some time to regain the pawn, and I was able to convert that into some dynamic activity. Because my opponent had kind of abandoned the king side and had some weaknesses over there. Your name is Cobra11. All right, cool, bro. I'm hoping that my opponent doesn't resign because I want because actually playing Queen G2 is kind of a pretty looking checkmate because the rook is in fact pinned. But not sure why this. Guess my opponent's gonna just time out. Okay, I will challenge you in a second, but I gotta finish this game. But very quickly, I would like to just see Yeah. Rook a8 directly. I guess it is. I guess he gets kicked out? I can really get away with this? Oh, because I can counterattack. Okay. But after... Alright, so queen a7, g6. Okay, h3 seemed like a mistake. Even though it fixes my opponent's back rank. Because it's just... Bishop d5. Oh, I got you. Yeah, that's annoying. Now there's no way to defend this. That was a big error. And now my opponent's just better. Go queen f2. Okay. All right. I will challenge Cobra 11. Oh, is it case sensitive? Well, I'm not seeing anyone named Cobra 11. I'm seeing a Cobra. There's Cobra. Type 11. There's Cobra 115 and 116. So which one is you? Queen a4, yeah, knight d3. Oh, knight h4 is even more efficient because he can't even play rook. Because I guess he can't play. If he plays knight g1, it's just same story. Yeah, so none of the Cobras. There's no Cobra 11 online, so I'm gonna go to the next game. Play a faster one in case you come, like, this person who's trying to challenge me comes back. I'm going to play e5. Again, not my first choice, but I want to keep the games varied. Ooh, okay. D4 is an interesting move. So the best move, I think, is knight c6. Again, g5 is not as good until they commit to knight f3. Yep, and now I can play knight c3. Or knight f6, and now knight c3, bishop b4. E5 doesn't quite work because just knight d5 is obnoxious. Excuse me. D5, eh? Maybe that's good. No, there's no e5 because I take. Play knight g6, and then just d6. I mean, I probably want to invest in that move. I probably want to double the pawns while I have the chance. All right, I'll castle. Knight h5 is interesting. Bishop f2, knight f4. Seems superficial to me, though. I'm just going to continue my development and my opponent wants to play e5, I'll play knight h5 then. Alright, I'll play moves that I want to make, like b6. Knight d4. I don't know what YouTube challenge you is. Oh, Cobra Dash 11. Okay. Well, after this game, I promise I will play with you. All right, I'm just gonna play knight g4, which threatens knight e3. The only thing I guess I'm not crazy about my position is that I am a little bit cramped and that it's hard for me to, it's hard to me to get to these weaknesses. You know, grab some more water. Queen F3. Whoa. Why are you so quick to play bishop d5 there? Or bishop e5? Don't want to play g6. That weakens a lot of dark squares. And I'm going to take if he plays knight f5. And I'm going to play f6. Well, okay, cancel that order. I might not play f6. Now if I play g6... Hold on. Now if I play g6, there's no rook f6, so I can play king g7. Yeah. Okay, this works. So now g6, rook ae1, king g7. But I can always retreat like this, right? King g7. There's just no reason to play g6 yet. Or maybe there is. Yeah, the problem in my position is is cramped, and so it's hard to make progress. But my opponent really can't do anything either because this knight is so strong. So I think it's just equal. So I play g6, rook ae1, king h8, rook f6, king g7. Rook f6, I can also play knight d7. Actually, I am gonna play g6. Rook f4. I can also, if I absolutely have to, f6 is not the end of the... I can play f6 and start doing that stuff, but... h3... just gonna play f6 myself. Now knight g6, which threatens queen e4, and it also threatens knight h4. And if g3, I can play h5 anyway, with the idea of h4. h5, I mean. Queen d4. Oh, rook g5. Okay. So that was a good move. All right, fine. I could have actually played h6 there. But here I just want to play h5 to pin my opponent down. I mean, I think this is just a draw. Yeah. There's just no way for either side to really make progress. So. Okay, Mr. Cobra. Okay, well, thank you. First of all, thank you for playing d4, because we haven't seen d4 yet. This stream. I just the reverse Queen's Gambit is what I like to play against or the reverse Slav is semi-Slav is what I like to play against the London system. Mm. I guess there's rookie 1 as well, but or rookie 8, sorry. Okay, you want to draw? I mean, okay. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my opponent is certainly a friendly enough person, but I mean, I beg my students not to play the London system. I just feel it's very difficult to playing these kinds of positions. It's very difficult to grow as a player. There's no threat to this yet, right? Yeah, I'll just play Rook Fe8. And yeah, okay, like it's equal position. Maybe black has a tiny edge, but certainly black getting a tiny edge is not what you're looking to do with the white pieces. And second of all, yeah, I just think it's better to play positions that give you a chance to actually grow as a player, right? And I think that these kind of super simplified positions where you just say, okay, I'll just accept an equal game with black. Does that drop a piece? I think it does. C5. Does C4 just win a piece? C4, E4, queen to E5, queen to C5. C4, bishop A4, A6. Queen C, queen somewhere. Yeah, okay, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't win a piece. Can I play D4 yet? No, because ED4. C4, bishop A4. Yeah, it doesn't work yet. If I could trade this bishop for this knight and then play C4 and then try to advance my queenside pawns with A6 and B5, so I'm not just giving my opponent the D4 square, I guess I'd be down with that. But as it is, can't play D4 yet. All right. So just slowly improve. Gonna get some water very quickly. Okay. Bishop back to D3. Queen F8. Is D4 a thing? Probably. Hmm. I'm just gonna play h6. If knight h4, I can just play knight h4. I can play knight e4. Okay, I mean, I get you can have a5. I don't necessarily care about that. Just really want to get. I'm just wanting to get d4 in. All right, I'm gonna play queen f8 and then threaten. I guess I kind of sort of threatening d4. Here, if he plays knight e5, I guess I have to play queen d6 and. Part of my idea with h6 is just so that if I play e4 and he plays d4, he plays e4, don't have to worry about, if I choose, I don't have to worry about e5 and winning the pawn on h7. Well, all right, I'm gonna play d4 now. Well, I will be taking on f3. Okay. But again, I think this was equal the whole way until my opponent. Like, I think even this position is equal, right? I think that, but it's slightly more pleasant to play for black. And white certainly has areas they can make mistakes. So as my opponent did. Ironically enough, I think actually going after playing rook f e8 is good because I have a target to go after, and f3 I'm happy because then I can play knight h5. Now there is. I was expecting queen d2, but now queen d6 pin. There's a pin on. This is pinned. and the threat is to play queen e5 and knight f4, which is obnoxious. Yeah, that looks good. On e5, I will be playing queen g6. Now I have knight g3 and to f5 to cover d6. Knight g3, rook e1, knight f5, queen e2. And then I could even just play rook c5, right? No, if I want to get my knight to, I want to cover this square. Yeah, then actually I'll just so knight knight g3, rook e1, and then knight f5, and then I'll play a6. Well, okay. And again, I think it's okay. Queen f4. Don't have a way to take advantage of. I have a lot of pieces pointed at the king side, but I don't really see a way to take advantage yet. If rook c5, I think my opponent has rook e8. Alright, I am going to just play a6. This seems somewhat straightforward. Knight d6. Oh, I guess rook d6. No, but I have queen d2. I have queen c2. Yeah, yeah. There's also just rook d6, right? Yeah. Because takes rook d6, I have queen b3. Okay. Well, that's not a threat, so I guess I'm just gonna ask you to leave. And if rook a7, I'll just play a5. Oh, maybe I won't actually. No, yeah, I'll just play a5 because there's no rook d7 because it's take. Then like yeah. And now b3 and then rook e8. I think I'm just winning this pawn. Suppose rook d6. But in that case, I should just have, I think I can just take that and play rook d8. Or I can even start by just taking this pawn first. But yeah, I'll probably just take it and play rook d8. And then my opponent is, yeah. See what my opponent is able to come up with here, but my pieces are doing a good job keeping his at bay, and I'm basically just on a piece. So I mean, his only chance was to somehow get some sort of initiative coming in to the d6 or d7 squares, but it looks like that's not going to be anything that comes to fruition. b4, eh? Admit that I did not consider that move. Guess I'll just take you. It hits this. Yes, but now I might even have, now I could even play this, right? Because then BC3 should be just totally winning. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. This seems to win faster than actually just being up the piece because the C pawn will queen now. And I think this pawn is like this pawn and not will win faster than me organizing, trading off more, like trading off all the, I go back a few moves. If I retreat and then just trading off the queenside pawns, I will win on the king side with my extra piece, but it's going to be slower than now. There's a pawn on c3 that's going to win the game in the next 5 to 7 moves. The other one to reorganize the attack to win on the king side, that's going to take me 25 moves. Not 25, probably around 15. 15 to 20. Geez. I guess rook c6. I don't see a reason not to play rook c6. Is there some stupid... No, just rook c6. And I can always hide my king on h7. I don't even care if he wins the e6 pawn. Or the f7 pawn because it's too slow. I'm queening. Whoa. Well, okay. C2, there's queen c8 check. And it's perpetual. Oh, okay, fine. Queen c7. Queen d3, queen f7. I'm just gonna play this. I don't, because now I can just play g6 if I have to. Because there's no taking here. And now I'm threatening c2. Queen c4 will win. My opponent drummed up a little bit of counterplay. That was good, but queen moves anywhere and then c2. And this is too slow. Queen d6, c2, e6, c1 queen. Whoa. All right, GG. I'm gonna call it a stream. It's been almost 2 hours, so I'm gonna call it a stream. But I appreciate it, and thank you for everyone for watching and for hanging out. I hope you found the games instructive, and I've hope on streaming again tomorrow. So tune in, and if you're interested in lessons, hit me up on social media at Mike Fellman on Twitter. You can email me as you're seeing, and this will also be going up on YouTube under Game of the Day. I think we're up to number 5 or number 6, and hoping to keep that going too. So thanks for hanging out, guys.